Welcome to the Detroit Association of Black Storytellers Fourth Friday Story Hour. Tonight's theme is Your Luck. Hi, I'm Jatu Gray, president of DABS and your host for tonight's program. I'll be introducing three of our storytellers, starting with Equilla Marie Walker. Now, she's a native of Detroit and currently resides in Arkansas. She has close family ties in Detroit and frequently travels to Metro Detroit area to perform as a storyteller and present workshops. She has been a teaching artist with Crystal Bridges Museum of America. Crystal Bridges in the classroom program. During 2022, she will be featured as a visual artist in a traveling exhibit sponsored by the Arkansas Art Council. And now, Equilla Marie Walker.
Hi, my name is Equilla Marie Walker, and I'll be your storyteller for this evening. So, the only thing that I want you to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy. And I hope you're inspired by the story I'll bring to you today. So, let me start off by telling you I am the mother of four beautiful children. But let me tell you the truth, sometimes I just get a little tired. Tired from cooking, tired from cleaning, and doing all those things. So by the time Saturday afternoon comes, I just want to sit back, relax, and enjoy. But this one Saturday afternoon, my 6-year-old son comes to me and says, "Mommy, will you play a game with me?" And I'm thinking, oh, I'm so tired. I just want to go lay down, go watch some Netflix or something. And so I said, you know what? No, not this time, baby. And so I go off, but he looks a little sad. And so, of course, mom guilt sets in within the next couple of minutes. And I say, you know what? I can play a game for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 15 minutes with my son. So I go back in his room. I said, okay, buddy, what game do you want to play? So he just perks up and he's so excited. And he said, Mommy, I want to play chess. And I said, oh, okay. So I haven't played chess in a long time. Matter of fact, I probably have forgotten everything. But I said I couldn't be that bad to play against a 6-year-old. So he pulls out his tablet and then he pulls up the chess game. And I remind him, I said, you know what? I don't really remember how to play. He says, don't worry about it, Mommy. I'll read you the directions. So here my 6-year-old son starts to read me the directions on how to play chess. So we get started. And none of the moves look familiar. I can't even remember any of the pieces. But he knows the pieces. He knows the moves. So as we continue to play the game, I said, wow, this chess is really something. So as we continue to play the game, I'm taking my time, really trying to think about what my next steps are. But as I make my step, he goes really fast and makes his next step. But I said, oh goodness, I'm sitting up here thinking about just my next move when really I should be thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead. 2 or 3 steps ahead. So here I am playing the game with a 6-year-old, and here I am learning a lesson. Not just a lesson about the game, but a lesson about life. Here I am on a Saturday afternoon, boggled down by the stress or the pressures of the week, when really I need to be thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead. 2 or 3 steps ahead in life. That if we keep God first and we're always thinking about 2 or 3 steps ahead, then we can never lose. So that is what today's story is about. Those unexpected lessons. Here I am, I found an unexpected lesson in a Saturday afternoon playing chess with my 6-year-old son. Unexpected lessons. That is the theme that I want you to keep in mind as I tell you another story. I will be sharing a story with you today by Langston Hughes. Now, Langston Hughes was known because he was one of the main figures of the 1920s Harlem Renaissance. Now, he was an African-American poet, novelist, social activist, and he wrote this story called Thank You, Ma'am. It was based in 1958. Now, 1958, bread was only 19 cents. A house could be bought for only $10,000. Barbie and Legos were first introduced. Desegregation was just starting to happen in schools, and it was faced with a lot of resistance. Unemployment was high, and Dwight Eisenhower was the President of the United States and in his second term. But most importantly, the hottest ticket in town was Elvis Presley and his popular hit, Blue Suede Shoes. Now, I will be telling this story from the perspective of a boy named Roger. Blue suede shoes. Man, I want me some blue suede shoes. Elvis Presley, all he talking about on the radio was blue suede shoes, blue suede shoes. Now, I know if I got some blue suede shoes, all the girls will like me like they do Elvis. And the boys, they gonna want to be me if they see my shoes on my feet. So I need to get me some blue suede shoes. It's 11 o'clock at night, and I know that somebody around here got some money. If I steal somebody's wallet or purse, I know I'll be able to get those shoes. There's somebody right now. Man, she pretty big though. That's a large lady. Well, I gotta get the shoes somehow. I can't be scared. She got a big purse too. It looked like it's a whole bunch of stuff in that purse, so I know it's some money. If it's 11 o'clock at night, she must be coming home from work. So she might even have got paid today. So that's my best bet. So I think I'm going to steal her purse. All right, here I go. So I run as fast as I can. Fast as I can. Next thing I know, I grab the lady's purse. I feel her strap break. But instead of me going down the street, I fall flat on my butt. I can't believe it. But the next thing I know, she kicks me in my butt on the ground. Then she picks me up and starts shaking me so hard that I can feel my teeth rattle. Then she turns around and looks at me and says, "You ought to be ashamed of yourself trying to steal my purse." And all I could do was say, "Yes'm." "What was you aiming to do?" "I wasn't aiming to do nothing, ma'am. I wasn't aiming to steal your purse." And she says, "You a lie. You are a lie." And all I could think about is, I needed to get out of here. "You pick up my purse right now. Pick up my purse." So she, without letting me go, makes me pick up her purse. But I'm still trying to think about a way to get away. Then she says to me, "If I let you go, are you going to run?" Being so scared, all I could do was say yes. Yes, I'm going to run as fast as I can as soon as she lets me go. And she says, "Great, I'm not going to let you go then." And all I could do was think about getting away. What is she going to do? Is she going to turn me into the police? What is she going to do? But then the next thing she says, "You need to wash your face." My face? You ain't got nobody at home to tell you to wash your face, boy? "No, ma'am, I don't." I need to be your mama, she says. If I was your mama, I'd be able to teach you right from wrong. No, ma'am, I don't have anybody at home to teach me. Nobody at home to tell me to wash my face. Well, I guess I look so frail and so skinny. The next thing she said to come out of her mouth was, "Boy, are you hungry?" Even though I was, I said, "No, ma'am." I just needed to get away. I needed to get away because I did not want to go to jail. And she says, "Well, come on." And she turns around and she puts me in a half Nelson. And she starts to drag me down the street. I didn't know where she was taking me. The next thing she says is, "My name is Lucille Bates Washington Jones, and you will never forget this name, because I'm going to be the one to teach you right from wrong." And she's dragging me down the street. We end up in front of a building with a door, and I could only assume it was her house, but I didn't know what she was trying to do. She drags me up the stairs, not letting go, and she drags me down a long hallway, and I hear different voices coming out of different rooms, and then she puts me down in the chair and puts her purse right next to me. And she says, "Boy, you go over to that sink and go wash your face. Let that water run now and let it get hot, but you go and wash your face." And she starts to take off her coat and her hat. I turn on the faucet to let the water run. Then I hear her say, "Boy, what's your name?" "Roger." "What you gonna do, ma'am? You gonna take me to jail?" "Huh," she says, "not with your face looking like that." I finish washing my face, and I see her sitting across the room on the daybed. I look at her, then I look at the door, and I could make a mad dash for it. But then she begins to talk and says, "Boy, all I was trying to do was get home after work to get me something to eat. Then here you go trying to take my purse. I was young once. I understand how it is. I think you're hungry. Ain't nobody at home to give you a meal. Because if you weren't hungry, why would you try to take my purse?" I said, "Ma'am, all I wanted was some blue suede shoes, and I ain't have any money to get any." "Boy, is that all you wanted was some blue suede shoes?" If you wanted some blue suede shoes, all you had to do was ask. All you had to do was ask if you needed some money for some blue suede shoes. You ain't have to go stealing nobody's pocketbook to try and do that. God knows I have done things that I've regretted in my past, and I ain't gonna tell you what they are either. And I ain't gonna tell God if he don't already know. But boy, I think you need to eat. And I think you need to run that comb through your hair," she says to me. Then the woman gets up, goes behind a screen, and starts to make a plate. Now I look at the door. I could run right now. But then I also look at the daybed. She left her purse. And she's not looking. But man, I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to jail at all. And I need somebody to be able to trust me. So I ain't going to let her think that I'm going to try to steal her purse when she's not looking. So I asked her, I said, "Do you need somebody to go to the store?" And so she says, "No, I don't need anything from the store." And I say, "Ma'am, you sure you don't need some milk or something like that?" And she says, "No, we're going to have some sweet milk if that's all right." And I thought, yes, that'll be good. Thank you. So she comes back from behind the screen with 2 plates, one for me and one for her, with meat and lima beans on the plate. And I know I'm hungry and I can't wait to eat, but I didn't want to show her that I was hungry. But man, I ain't had nothing to eat since yesterday. And it wasn't even a lot. Then she goes on to tell me about her job that she was coming from. How at her job she works at a beauty salon and she does different types of women's hair. The blondes and then the brunettes and then the Spanish women come in. And then she reaches over and she cuts me a piece of cake and gives me 2 slices and says, I know you're hungry still. And I'm thinking to myself, yes, I am still hungry. So she says, go ahead and get enough and fill up your belly. She didn't ask me anything about where I lived or who I lived with or what the situation was going on. She just shared with me about her life. And then once we finished eating all of our food, she gets up, she goes to her pocketbook, and she hands me a $10 bill. I can't believe it. Did she just give me $10? And she says to me, here's $10. Now you go buy you some blue suede shoes. And you remember not to try and steal anything from anyone to buy some shoes, because any shoes gotten from devilish ways will sure burn your feet. So I sat there, and then the next thing she said was, Roger, I want you to behave yourself. Be on your best behavior. And don't try to take things from people or steal their pocketbook. She got up. She walked me to the front door. And I was so surprised by her generous gift to get me some blue suede shoes. I didn't know what to say. All I could say was, all I could do was think it, really. My lips moved. But I wanted to say, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And I look at her, and Miss Lucille Bates Washington Jones shuts the door. So this was my unexpected lesson from someone I tried to steal a purse from. But I learned some good from this unexpected lesson.
And that was Equilla Marie Walker, such a talented teaching artist with the Crystal Bridges Museum of America. What a fantastic program. And I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot about that. And so will you. Now, we're going to hear from Chris Van-Thenopia Watkins. We affectionately call her Chris. Chris is a published inspirational writer since 2007, who now includes the art of storytelling in her repertoire. Now, this is a natural progression to further embellish her journey and satisfy her love for stories from her African heritage and those that speak to the soul. For training from the best, Chris joined DABS and the Detroit Story League in 2017. She has performed impromptu stories and, upon request, written and performed a character story and presentation for Black History Month at her local assembly. Chris believes we all have a story to tell, and that we do.
There was an African family who arrived in America as slaves. There was a father, Absco, whose name means power and strength. His wife, Amali, meaning the beautiful one. son Ifinichuku, that means nothing is impossible with God. The baby son, Amadi, means free man. And a baby daughter, Chabuza, meaning God leads the way. Now, Absco, he was wise beyond his years. He was tall, dark, and handsome. He was chiseled in form. When he maneuvered that pickaxe, his shirt would stick to his form from his perspiration. Oh, that exhibited his physical power. As he was wise and strong, he was just as loyal, loving, and kind to his family. Amali, she was beautiful. She was shapely and moved with grace. Even in the face of the hardships and the strenuous labor, her beauty and grace shone through the dirt and the grease. Oh, but her love and her dedication to her husband and family, it was obvious to all who saw her. Their sons, they were the image of their parents. The oldest, Ifinichuku, was growing into his own strength and agility. He took on the role of protector and guide for his brother and sister. The younger brother, Amadi, he was amazing in his own right. He too was very handsome. He was a hunter and ran faster than most. Oh, but that boy, he loved his mama. The baby sister Chabuza was very pretty with big brown eyes like her mother and so soft spoken. She stayed close to her family because the new master and the new family situation as slaves was still beyond her young mind's comprehension. Their master Brett, he had a wife named Martha and a son, Brett Jr., who was about the age of Ifinichuku. Master Brett, he was a wiry man, weathered, and had seen his better days. Farm life, y'all know it's hard work, and it ages you quickly. The master, he was pleased with the hard work that Absco and his sons did on the farm. See, they made it prosperous. Amali, she worked in the house, cleaning, making the meals, doing the laundry, and assisting Miss Martha. Her daughter Chabuza assisted in those chores. Now, in their town, there was an annual trading of slaves conducted on New Year's Day. For the masters, they were known as hiring day, but among the slaves, they were called Heartbreak Day. Their slave master, Master Brett, he was unusual. He preferred to have the African family stay together and work his farm. Master Brett didn't even attend those auctions and often ignored offers to purchase one or two of his slaves from the neighboring farmers. These auctions on New Year's Day were gruesome events for the slaves. The slaves were often torn from their families, sold separately, and beaten into subjection by the new owners. Oh, it brought fear to the hearts, especially in the days preceding the auction. It became customary that the slaves would go to church services the night before the auction on New Year's Eve, calling it watch night. Here they prayed to God for his protection and sang hymns of worship. Absco and his family, they attended those services. They enjoyed the services and were comforted by the songs like, "Come by here, dear Lord, come by here." There were also groups conducting some sort of business off to the side. They were often led by a caring, weathered, middle-aged woman named Araminta. Those the family met at those services became their extended family. A few years passed, and there was a bad year with major setbacks and losses on the farm. Poor Master Brett. Master Brett succumbed to the stress of it all and died. Brett Jr. became the new master. Now, Brett Jr., he wasn't nothing like his daddy in his dealings with Absco and his family. See, he always resented his father, saying he was too kind and civil to the slaves. He said in his dark and evil heart that he was going to be a different kind of master to the Africans. He also harbored unsavory desires for Absalom's daughter Chibuza as he watched her grow strong and as beautiful as her mom. He stared at her bronze skin as it shimmered in the light as she worked in the house. Over time, he became more liberal with his advances towards her. One morning, her older brother Ifinichuku came into the kitchen to bring rags to his mom. He walked in on Brett Jr. cornering his sister as she cowered, resisting his advances. Ifinichuku stepped between them. Brett Jr. attacked Ifinichuku. Now that was a mistake. That strong and agile Ifinichuku whipped Brett Jr. without mercy. He beat him like he stole something. All that noise and clamor brought Miss Martha, Absalom, and the rest of the family running in. Of course, this angered and humiliated Brett Jr. Ooh, he started yelling, "Get out, get out!" He screamed behind him, "I'm gonna deal with you later." For the first time, panic and fear set into the African family's heart. Now, New Year's Eve was quickly approaching. When the time came, they went to the watch night service, now to urgently pray for their own help and deliverance. They were visibly shaken when they arrived, and the others noticed, asking them why. Once sharing the details, the members called over Araminta. Araminta listened, and she understood all too well the family's fear. Just then, a man out of breath came in, motioning Araminta to the side of the room. When they were done, she came back and explained that slaves on the neighboring farm overheard and enraged Brett Jr., saying he was coming to avenge his earlier humiliation. See, he planned to beat Ifinichuku as an example. Then he bragged he was going to sell them separately at the New Year's Day sale. But that evil twisted heart started to brag and savor. He kept saying he was going to keep Chibuza at his farm. The anxiety in the room, it escalated, and Araminta stepped up. She said she knew a way to help her. They decided to trust Araminta, whatever that meant. What else could they do? Just then, they heard dogs barking from afar off. Someone ran in saying it was Brett Jr. coming with his back up. Oh, Lord. The room went into a chaos. One group gathered and started singing the song, "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot," as if they were trying to create a diversion for what was happening next. Araminta, she grabbed the family into a huddle and she said, "It's time to go." She said, "When I open that door, you run. Keep running till I tell you to stop." That door opened. They fled out of that church into the woods and ran so fast. But when they looked around, Amadi was leading the way. They ran all night till they couldn't run no more. Then they ran some more. They outran the angry former master, dogs, and shouts they knew were chasing. At the break of dawn, dazed and confused, Araminta led them to a field outside an old farmhouse. She told them, "Stay put." Upon her return, they were led to a hidden side of a barn where they rested for a bit, ate, and became refreshed. In the dark, they left again and ran some more. This continued for days, weeks, a month or so. They could hear Araminta using strange phrases when referring to them like cargo. What could that mean? They rode in hidden compartments of wagons, rode in coal cars on trains, and met in the occasional cellar of a house. They ain't had no idea where they were, let alone where they're going, but they trusted Araminta. It seems some stranger always came with a bag of food and necessities that they needed. They would sit and sing songs with Araminta and they learned to pray to a God that they had only recently been introduced to among the other slaves. The next day, Araminta shared that at the end of the next leg of their journey, they would have reached their destination. Oh, the joy and relief that entered the hearts of those exhausted African people. The night came and they went out into the woods again, this time running alongside a great river. They ran through a clay tunnel of sorts that they found damn close to critters, oh, the bugs, but they kept moving. The father, he assisted the mother. The brothers alternated in assisting Araminta and their sister. Finally, they saw a hatch of sorts at the end of the path. Araminta opened that hatch and told them, run, children, run! As she led them to one of the last cars on a nearby train. Araminta tapped in a certain sequence on the metal door. In minutes, someone opened the door, and Araminta and the family moved into the dark space. They rode all night until the wee hours of the morning. In dawn, they left the train hurriedly and ran to the side door of a hotel led by Araminta. She told them, she said, you now in another country, you now in Canada. After she spoke with those in the hotel, Araminta came and told them that their master had given up the chase after them. Ooh! The people she introduced them to had certain documents and plans that would assist in their new life, their new country, their new year, and their new freedom. Oh, Araminta and Amali and the children raised their hands and broke out in songs and praises to God for his deliverance. But Absco fell to the ground, giving thanks to God, and also to honor the watchful eyes of the African ancestors. You see, from time to time, he still thought he could hear the sound of the African drums from his native village telling him, run on, children, run on. Now, in hearing this African's family story and in reflection of our own recent New Year's celebrations, we must remember New Year's Eve and day weren't always happy occasions for our ancestors. We all can testify that we face many, many challenges. We can be certain in the upcoming year, we're going to face some more. But here's the truth. God has placed something in each of us or in those around us to pull us through those situations. When you come face to face with those challenges, go deep within your soul and pull out the Absco, the power and strength to carry on. Then you won't carry on in fear and anxiety. You won't move in in beauty and grace. When you find your back against the wall, remember, Ifenichuku, nothing is impossible with God. You see, God intended all to be an Amadi, a free man. If you find yourself lost, remember Chibuza. God leads the way. God has an Araminta Ross, better known as Harriet Tubman, in our life to show us the path and to push us on. So run, children. Don't be afraid to use the strength that's within you. Run on to your freedom in this new year, 2022.
And that was Chris Vandenopia, a published inspirational writer she is starting to do some great things, like her workshops are really good. I know because I've been there and it's helped me a lot. So I am looking forward to Chris doing some powerful things. And next up is Anthony Tone Ross. He says, as a storyteller, he tries to tell stories that are pretty close to real life experiences that you have encountered at some point in your life. Most of the time, he tries to keep it lighthearted so that you may get a laugh for a moment. Tonight, he wants to close this program with a story that will lead us into Black History Month, as he was also a part of history and never knew it.
I never thought that one point in time or another until I ran into a group of people that I went to high school with. And they informed me that we were somewhat a part of history because of some of the things that took place while we were in high school. I would have never thought that it would ever come to this in my mind, that we had actually done something that was a good thing and we broke the chain of something. You have to understand that in Detroit back in 1974 was a pivotal time in our era here. In our Detroit public schools here, there was only one school left that was predominantly 85% white. In 1973, they sat down and decided that they weren't going to be an entrance exam group, but they were going to be open for everybody. But what they were going to do was going to take top echelon of Black students or athletes or anything along kind of in that way. I happen to be one of those people who went there because I was an athlete. I would have never ever thought that things were they were when I got there. My mother turned and said that she would never let me go to the neighborhood school, high school close to me. She felt as though that I needed to actually understand exactly how white America was and how they operate. And I needed to know exactly what to do and how to operate amongst them. So my mom sent me out to the school, not knowing myself exactly what I was getting into. I had never, ever been around a large number group of white people. I've been to a few summer camps. I've been to a few Boy Scout camps, something like that, but nothing to the magnitude of that was going to happen to me in my life. You have to understand, I've come from a family that my grandfather was a NAAC president in Indiana back in the day, marching for equality, making sure that we get equal rights. My father started out from the bottom, worked his way up to the top, as they say. Yep, my father was a garbage man. That's how he started out. They're now sanitation engineers now. But at the time, that's what they were. My dad worked all the way up until he became a manager, a supervisor, and then he became over the logistics of the city of downtown for parades and auto racing and all the kind of major events that went on down there. My mother came from a background of going to school. She went to Homer G in St. Louis, Missouri. It was an all-Black nursing school. One of the first ones around you'll see in history. She went there, graduated there, became a registered nurse. My other grandfather owned his own business. He owned his own trucking business. He owned his own truck when it was actually unheard of to work amongst white America doing trucks. It just wasn't heard of back then. So my background basically has been put in me, instilled in me, and I never knew this. Bradford High School, Detroit, Michigan. 85% white, 1974. First day of school, I went out there. I was so overwhelmed when I walked through the door. I couldn't believe the number of white kids that I was enduring when I was there. It was so overwhelming that day that I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing here? I was like, where are all the rest of the Black kids that go to this school? I walked in, a friend of mine who I knew went there before me, a year ahead of me. He he basically walked me in and said, hey, come on, kind of show you around a little bit. This is what's going on. He kind of gave me a heads up because he lived around the block from me. So he kind of gave me the heads up of what was going on and what to expect. We basically walked in and went to class. The teachers were not totally racist at that time, but they were pretty close. School went on for the first week. Very basically no problems until we reached Friday. Before I get into that, let me tell you this part. My mother was a person that believed that I should dress nice going to school. And my mother made me wear nice clothes and all that kind of stuff. So coming home dirty and with holes in your pants and all that, that was unheard of amongst Lorraine Ross. She wasn't playing that. But so I dressed because my mom felt as though I need to wear an upper echelon set of clothes going to that school. So she bought me a different type of clothes. Back to Friday. First Friday in September, right after the school first started, the day after Labor Day. Get out of school and walk out. In front of the school, there's a sea of white kids standing there. Not knowing what was expected, I had no clue what was about to happen. My friend told me, he said, this has been going on for a whole school year last year. Every Friday, we're out here fighting them. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. For what? Because I had never been around that. And I never understood that. So we monks out there, and sure enough, they beat the crap out of us. And I mean, they beat the crap out of us. To the tune, they beat us so long, they got tired. When they got tired, they said they were tired and they were going home. That's how tired they were. Mind you, this school was across the street from a police station. Police looked out, walked out, looked, never said nothing. School faculty never ventured out in the school. We were just out there on our own every Friday, getting our head taken clear off our shoulders. I came home that first Friday night, shirt a little raggedy, clothes looking kind of crazy, not upside my head, mouth a little, lip a little puffy. Told my mother I wasn't going back. My mother said, oh, absolutely you are. I said, I'm not going to school. I'm going to get beat up on every Friday afternoon. That's crazy. My mother marched up to the school, complained about what went on that happened to me and everything that was going on. School administration basically blew it off. There was nothing we could do. It's kids. We've been trying to get it under control, but they weren't. 200 across street to the police station to file a complaint. Police said we didn't see a thing. It was kind of hard not to see when you got over 100 kids out there beating on a good portion of about 40, 50 kids. So it's kind of hard to miss that. But they said they never saw nothing. We didn't see a thing. We don't know nothing. We'll check on it this Friday. When in actuality, they came out, looked, and walked back in the precinct. This went on for about 6 Fridays. Now we're into the middle of October. And every Friday we fought like crazy. Sometimes you get some licks in, but most of the time you didn't. And for the life of me, I couldn't understand why my mom would send me back out there to that. My dad pretty much said, you gotta be able to go out there and endure that. You gotta go out there and fight like crazy. Well, we're outnumbered. At least 5-1, easily. So it's kind of hard to even come close being a tie, let alone win. 6 Fridays later, I got tired of it. And a friend of mine, who I'm still friends with today, because his mother, from the area school that he was supposed to go to, mother said he had the same idea. We sat in the thing back then, which was called study hall. Y'all, some of you probably really remember that. You sit in study hall and you basically goof off. You're supposed to be in there studying, but y'all in there just goofing around, talking, gossiping, trying to talk to girls, girls trying to talk to the guys, that kind of thing. So study hall was always something different. It was always a good fun period. But I got to talking about it, and I said, it was Thursday, and I said, tomorrow, this is great. I'm not going through this tomorrow. And they were like, you're not going to come to school? And I said, no, I'm coming to school. I'm just not going through that. And I said, I'm going to figure out something between third period and eighth period before we got out. By the time eighth period got out, I had an idea. And so did my friend. He said, I know a lot of people at the school I was supposed to go to, and I will bring them up here. And I said, same here. So we devised a plan that Friday, come 3:30, how this was going to go. Now, mind you, to show you how racist the kids were at this school, they basically, whenever they gave dances in that first couple, 6 weeks, they gave a dance and stuff, didn't play any kind of black music whatsoever. It was strictly all white rock and roll. Could care less if the black kids came, could care less whether we liked it or not. They even had a door on the side of the school that was strictly for them, they said. If you tried to go in that door and you were black, they tell you, get on out of here, Negro or nigger. And I guess I'll say that word because that's exactly what they said. This is our door. You don't bring your black so-and-so in this door at all. Don't you even try to even think about it. You go find one of them other doors and you go in one of those other doors. And we couldn't go in that door. Now, mind you, that door was the closest to the athletic field. So you kind of want to come out that door. You could even come out that door. You either had to go out around to the front door, or you had to go, if you couldn't get through the locker room to get out, you had to go through another door, which led out through the engineering part of the building and out through where the janitor's room was. And there was a door there. You went out that door. You could never go out that door. Couldn't come in either. Didn't care how late you were, raining, whatever. It's been that way since the black kids had started going there in 1975. We walked out that Friday. They looked at us, we looked at them, not knowing that our friends were either across the street or down at the other corner. They never paid attention to that. When we decided to give the signal, all of a sudden they were surrounded and they couldn't understand why. Now things changed. See, they had already bought chains and sticks and all that kind of stuff to hit us with. But we bought bats and sticks also, and we bought bigger chains. That particular day, we beat the living daylights out of them, and we didn't get tired. We beat them so bad, the police came out, saw us beating on them, now they want to run across the street. Police really couldn't do too much about it because by that time it was kind of an ordeal because they thought at first they would jump on us and just have to be a few more black kids when they really realized that there was more black kids over there and we were beating the crap out of them. Now they all want to come out and try to arrest us. But of course, everybody scattered. Nobody got arrested, that kind of thing. School officials and stuff saw what was going on, wanted to come out, but they were too scared to come out because the revolution had started. The rebellion and the resistance was there. We were not taking it anymore. So we beat the living daylights out of them. Nothing happened during that Monday, that whole next week until the next Friday. We called the group again, said they'd show up. They came and got a few more people, not knowing that we were going to get a few more people to come, because we knew they were going to go get a few more people. Now they come out with little knives and all that kind of stuff. We came out with meat cleavers and butcher knives and everything else. They weren't expecting that. Luckily enough, nobody got cut because they wanted no parts of that. Plus, we doubled our numbers that Friday. They went on peacefully. Not only did we stop that, we went to the door that they supposed that was supposed to be their door. We took that door and said, that door no more. Anybody want to come in this door, come in this door, white, black, green, blue, whatever. Take the white KKK nonsense you got going on. You better take that somewhere else. Now all of a sudden the white parents want to come up to school and complain. Principal didn't know what to do so bad, he quit. He said, I'm not up for this. He quit. He retired. School changed those 2 weeks. No more did we ever have a problem again. Everybody somewhat got along, but it wasn't as bad as it was those first 6, 7 weeks. No more fights. No more jumping on people, that kind of stuff. Everybody pretty much stayed in their little lane. I think about that sometimes. When I ran into my friends from school and they brought that up, and I said, no, we didn't really do anything. They said, oh yeah, we did. We changed the complex of that school. That school was never the same again after that. It never was like it was. White parents started pulling their kids out of that school left and right. See, it was all fine while they were taking our heads off. But the minute we took their heads off, now it's a different story. I brought this story because I just couldn't believe I was somewhat part of history because I changed the entire configuration of a school. I would have never thought that back then. I still kind of blown away by it, that I had a part in that. But I had had enough. I guess my background and what had been embedded in me came to the surface. My friend and I are still friends to this day, all because of that day. A few of the people that were really good friends at that time, they're going on now. They're passed away and living a good life. Him and I talk every year, September, because that's our month. September and October, no later than October. Interesting how history upon the individual. You never know what kind of history you've done or had a part in until you sit down and start thinking about things that you've accomplished and done in your life. Unreal. Today, we're still going through it. It hasn't changed. Sometimes I think, it's 2022, we're still back in 1973 and 1974. Absolute shame that it's like that still. Maybe one day, somewhere in there, maybe, hopefully. Jesse Jackson says, keep hope alive. Okay, keep hope alive. One day, maybe we will overcome. One day.
Fine. And that was Anthony Tone Ross. Wow, I am so fascinated and intrigued. I mean, to be a part of history, changing the racial barriers at Redford High School to make it a cultural facility now. This is really something. This is fantastic. And he never even knew he was doing it. Wow, isn't that great? Well, that was 3 awesome stories. You like our stories? Then please subscribe to this YouTube page and to get notifications when our shows are starting. Thanks again for coming to the Detroit Association of Black Storytellers 4th Friday Story Hour. Sending it back to the studio, I'm Jatu Gray, president and host, saying good night and pleasant stories.
Thank you for attending tonight's program presented by Detroit Association of Black Storytellers. All rights of Dad's 4th Friday Story Hour is a copyright of Detroit Association of Black Storytellers and cannot be rebroadcasted or re-recorded without the written permission and a written consent of the Detroit Association of Black Stories Incorporated. If you missed any of tonight's performance, you can tune into Dad's podcast or replay of this broadcast on buzzsprouts.com or come to the Detroit Association of Black Storytellers YouTube page right here and watch the entire program again. If you live in the Detroit area and have interest in becoming a storyteller, please contact Dabs at dabstorytellers@gmail.com. That's dabstorytellers@gmail.com or call 313-442-3227. That's 313-442-3227. If you happen to live outside of the Detroit area and are interested in becoming a storyteller, please visit the National Association of Black Storytellers website or call 410-947-1117. That's 410-947-1117. Or email them at questions@nabsinc.org. That's questions@nabsinc.org. NABS will connect with you and a storyteller association in a city near you. Hey, everybody. If you've been enjoying our programming over the past year and a half with season 1 and season 2, and if you actually came to see us some time down in the past, and you're preparing to come see us as we go back in person, we're now asking that for a brief donation from everyone. We're a 501c3 program. In order to continue the work that we're doing, providing you with the quality programs that we're putting together and the work that's been put into this, we need your help. If you can, please send your comments in the comment section here on the YouTube page in the Detroit Association of Black Storytellers, and somebody will get back to you as soon as possible. Or you can go directly to PayPal and you can give us a donation that way. That's at DetroitAbs@gmail.com. That's DetroitAbs@gmail.com. That's DetroitABS@gmail.com. Another way is you can mail us a check. You can mail us a check to our P.O. Box number. It's 441-004. It's in Detroit, Michigan at the 4th Street branch in Detroit, 48224. So we're hoping that you can help us out, and we greatly appreciate it. If you're also interested in next month's program, here we are. It's Black History Month in the making. Black History and Love, Dad's 4th Friday Story Hour with Shawnee Womack, Elder Gwendolyn Lewis, and Elder Eleanor Anderson. Our program starts Friday, February 25th. That's the 4th Friday. Doors open at 6:55 p.m. and concert begins at 7 p.m. right here on our YouTube station, Detroit Association of Black Storytellers. We want to thank you again for joining us tonight. Hope that all enjoyed the program, the great stories that were told today. We'll have with Chris Watkins, Equella Walker, and myself, Tone Ross, along with our music director, Michelle McKinney, our engineer, Jasmine Ross, and the entire Association of the Black Storytellers. We hope to see you next month, Friday, February 25th at 7 p.m. for another great show. Until then, be safe. Have a great time, great month, Black History Month. Celebrate every day. Black History is 365.
always. It's never just 1 month. Until next time.